I'm Eddie.
And I'm Dom.
Welcome to the Monsters, Metal, and Moonsaults podcast. Episode number, I don't even know what it is. We have so many. I think it's 8, 9, 8, 8.
Well, if we're not counting the special editions, we're on number 7.
Okay, but total, what, 9?
Something like that. Yeah,
All
somewhere
right,
around there.
all right. I don't mean to put you on the spot.
I'm always
So,
on the spot. I'm always on the fucking spot. And
welcome back, Cotter.
welcome back.
Because
Welcome
we
back,
got him
listeners.
on the spot. Welcome back. That's
Welcome
you.
back. Yep. Yeah. Now I'm gonna have that fucking song stuck in my head, along with the entire introduction to the show playing like a movie in my brain because of how much I remember it as a kid.
Good. That's a good song to have in your head. Better than that than the fucking Macarena. Something like that.
Macarena wouldn't get stuck in my head. And yeah, actually, Welcome Back, Carter wasn't a bad song. And but one of the best TV theme shows of all time to me is Barney Miller.
Oh yeah, I knew. Yeah, I had a feeling you would say it because that the bass line and that guitar solo.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I didn't get it. I remember watching it when I was like 7 or 8 and not getting it. But then years later, when it came back on syndication, I was like, "Oh shit, this is pretty fucking badass."
yeah. That's what I didn't get it when I was a kid either. But then when I got into music as a teenager and started playing this shit, I was like, the Barney Miller theme's actually pretty kick ass. uh, everybody who's paying attention, please like, share, subscribe on all those social media
You know what
delicious
I was
spots.
thinking?
Somebody call my mama. Somebody call my mama. Somebody call my mama. What you say? Somebody please call my mama. Somebody call my mama.
All right,
Everybody
so
out there.
we just had a little issue.
Oops.
But we're gonna continue. Last we were talking about the Barney Miller theme song,
Yeah.
but we're gonna dig into our topics today, which is gonna be Forbidden Door. We're going to talk a little Raw. We're going to talk a little Godzilla Kong Supernova. And we're going to talk about a heavy metal topic that I've been wanting to get at for a few episodes now. So let's get right into it. I mean, the first thing up was Forbidden Door. What'd you think?
Forbidden Door. Good show. It was not AEW's best, but it was a solid, good show with really nothing to be complained about. Again, excellent. AEW seems to treat their pay-per-views, all of them, like the top-notch pay-per-view because at that time, like introductions, the scenery, the whole thing, the set, whatever. They put everything they can into making each pay-per-view feel like it's the most important thing going on in the company right now. And they did that last night too, especially with the entrances for Offspray and Strickland in the main event.
Yeah, in that match, I would, thinking about it, that was probably the best match of the weekend, I would say.
It's a contender. It's a contender. It was good. It was fucking bloody. It was very bloody. It's a hell of a cut Swerve took.
Oh, man, dude, that was one of those like where I jumped out of getting caught up in the world of wrestling as I'm watching the match
Uh-huh.
and went to, oh shit, man, you better get checked on. It was one of those moments, like Shawn Michaels' Hell in a Cell moment. One of those,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
When I saw Swerve bleeding all over the place, I was like, yeah, I think that's worse than what he was expecting it to be. He's definitely gonna need to get checked out. Even to the point where I was wondering, did he actually, hit himself and not know it because of how bad the blood was? But it was not for the squeamish at heart.
Yeah, really. Yeah, that was a great match. And whoever, the person who was supposed to win won.
Yeah.
Osprey should have won and he won. So, and that's
Well,
one thing you were talking about real quick was AEW's pay-per-views. I like, as we're getting into what is their 7th year,
yeah.
sixth year, 7th year.
7. We're at 7 now.
I think Tony Khan, I don't want to jinx him, think he's really starting to develop a knack between, having really good wrestling, if you're into this style of wrestling, and telling stories, especially on his pay-per-views. Like his Dynamites and Collisions are, trying to tell more stories than wrestling, but there's still a lot of wrestling. But then the pay-per-views are the big payoffs. Unlike, I don't want to start bringing up WWE, but unlike WWE, it's like, well, you know what? If the stories keep going and we happen to put together a good match tonight, fine. So, but
I see that
yeah,
point. I see that point of view.
yeah. So that was a great way to end the weekend as far as wrestling matches goes.
Yeah,
What
and
you
there was a
thinking?
solid. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Solid main event. I like like I was saying, I like the entrances with Osprey coming out as a little bit of a deep dive as
Yeah,
Bane from the Dark Knight series,
yeah.
and fucking Strickland doing Lobo. He looked good as Lobo. So good match, solid overall, good main event. It made sense that it was the main event with it being the close of the Owen Hart tournament. The AEW's done a great job putting importance on that tournament. So much so is that I think that's why WWE brought King of the Ring back. If you haven't noticed, King of the Ring tournament runs adjacent to the Owen Hart tournament.
I wonder why it's not just King of the Ring anymore.
Yeah, it's Queen now too, but you know what
No,
I'm
I'm
saying.
saying it's not even King of the Ring. It's Night of Champions.
Well, it's King of the Ring tournament that finishes at Night of Champions.
I know, but it just used to be just King of the Ring.
It used to be, but now they're doing it where it's like a weekly segmented tournament that finishes on a pay per view, and that's what AEW has been doing with the Owen Hart tournament. You watch it on Dynamite and Collision for about a month and a half, and then it comes to its end on the pay per view.
You're
And
supposed to fucking be like, yeah, man, you're right.
no,
Yeah.
you're wrong. You're wrong.
No, I'm not fucking wrong. This was never mind. Anyway,
It's on. Never mind. What's your point?
I forgot what I was even talking about.
You're
That's how,
welcome. So
that's how
good I am.
that's how forward thinking I am.
Uh, your brain is two paragraphs ahead.
At least. At least. What do you think
So
of the
what?
cage match?
The cage match was great.
Yep, it sure damn was.
It was great. I actually popped a little bit for the Nintendo being used, and not only that, but Kyle O'Reilly blowing into the cartridge, which got the crowd to pop. Because we
Yes.
could tell you what kind of crowd was in the audience, what kind of age group was in the audience for them to pop for a 1986 Nintendo cartridge fix.
Yep.
So that was great. And I was like, man, I hope they tested that thing to see that it's not salvageable before using it in this match because this is worth money. Um, but yeah, it was good. That was a good implement. The orange, the orange slices were good
Yes.
from Will Nightingale. Everybody eating it as a snack, and then pouring the juice into Kyle Fletcher's eye. So either Fletcher is a hell of a champ for taking the orange juice in the eye, or they really did a great job making it look like it went in his eye with the three of them holding his face open and the camera angle because that was well done. And overall, it wasn't a spot fest. There was the highlight of that match. I think surprisingly to me was Jake Doyle. Everybody did a good job. Darby Allin wasn't ridiculous. You know what I mean when he does all those
Right.
overly abundant violent shit. He was kept in check, and I think that helped the match a lot. MJF was classic.
As
Uh,
usual.
Again, playing all kinds of heel that he could possibly play, and the babyface turn, which I was a little bit surprised that it happened at this particular point, but I'm glad it happened with Andrade turning babyface.
And I like the cheap pop with the t-shirt too. That was good.
It was it was funny. It
Yeah.
even I feel like the T-shirt took Tony Schiavone a little bit off guard. The
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, Schiavone seemed a little speechless. What's his face? Excalibur had a laugh. So did Nigel McGuinness. They all had a little chuckle on it. and good pop from the crowd. Fuck Don and fuck MJF. We're not going to
Well,
see that T-shirt for sale, but it was good to see it.
well, yeah. I mean, they're supposed to be announcers, but they can't announce what they're seeing. You know?
Sure, they can't always do that. You're right. They cannot. Hey, look, it says this. We can't repeat what we see. We'll
Right.
catch a fine.
Right.
And it was a good turn. It's a good turn, and there's your program MJF between now and All In
Yep.
and Andrade.
Yep. Yeah. And it should, there's potential for it to be good.
No,
We'll
I think
see.
I think it'll be really good.
We'll see what they do with it. But it has potential to be good for sure.
Yeah, when we get to our All In predictions, I'm already fantasy booking that show in my head. So, and I'd like to see Andrade going after the title.
Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna if that's. I mean, we talked about what the main event should be. It should be MJF Osprey.
Yeah, and it should be MJF Offspring. It should be MJF and Offspring in a one-on-one. But that's how I feel about it.
I guess we'll get to it as the weeks progress. What do you think of Zack Sabre against Omega?
It was good. It was good. And I want to say, unfortunately, but it's not an insult. I saw Kenny Omega earlier in the day in a match from like 15 years ago with him being as young as he was. And after watching that earlier in the day and seeing him wrestle last night, he still got it. But how much longer is he going to have it in the ring? Yeah, I feel like Omega's aged and he should get his he's in his last hurrah days is what I'm feeling. The match itself was good. It was a solid match. I couldn't complain about it at all.
And that Zack
Yep.
Sabre, I wish he'd just come to one of the companies over here already. You know, he's always great. But yeah, Omega. Every time he does something uh acrobatic or whatever, or some of the shit he does, I'll start thinking. Now I start thinking like, whoa, dude, calm the fuck down. You don't have to. Doesn't have to. You can slow down a little bit. You know.
Yeah,
But
he can. I think I almost feel like he's still proving to himself that he can go like he used to, more than anybody else, because he doesn't need to.
yeah, yeah, that's true. Let's see. What else is on the
Mercedes,
card?
Mercedes and
Maya,
Maya in the finals, the women's side of the Owen Hart tournament. Again, another really excellent match.
excellent
The
matchup.
correct
Yeah.
the correct person to win won the match. Mercedes Moné going to All In to challenge Tekla is the right choice as far as I'm concerned. I think we'll see Monet. AEW doesn't have a problem with heel versus heel, but between the two of them, I'm pretty sure the crowd will cheer Monet. Maybe I retract that because they'll be in London, so I'm not sure.
Hmm.
But Monet is the biggest name they have in the female division currently, and they should put the title on her All In. But focusing on the match, they did a good job with the storytelling in the match to get about halfway through the match. They made it believable that Maya could win.
Yeah, there was a little bit of it there. There was a smidge of me thinking, hmm, you know, oh wait, oh wait, oh no. There was a lot of that, but yeah, it was a good match. I don't know how many people believe that she could have won, but was still, it was still really good.
Well, with her road to the finals, with Maya's road to the finals in the tournament, we speculated on the why she got to where she is, but also she's excellent in the ring.
Yep.
With the outside life situation transpiring, she's excellent in the ring and hold her own in there with Mercedes. Mercedes. Duh. But like for me, I didn't think Maya had a chance until about halfway through the match. I was like, I wonder if they're going to pull the carpet out for him in my prediction, and Mone's going to lose. But no, the right person won the match. Mercedes goes on to All In, which that's their WrestleMania. You want to have all the marquee matches possible on that show.
Yeah, and that's definitely a marquee matchup now,
I th-
especially where Tekla is. And you know me, I wasn't buying Tekla at first, but she's grown on me more. She's not still not all the way there, but she's grown on me.
I like her more now than when she first came around in the ring, as we've discussed on the side. And I'm looking forward to it. I don't see a reason for them to take the title off her between now and All In. So her and Mercedes in a match. I want to see how they can go down. That's two different styles, two heels going out with each other. My interest is peaked, and I think there's good plans for Maya already because later after the match, Athena, the Ring of Honor,
Yep,
I'm
she
never
really
gonna.
put her over.
Yeah, she put her over, and at the same time was setting up a feud between the two of them.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I would think that's who Maya gets the title from. Is Maya will be the one to throw in Athena at some point, and you know if they have half a match that they had during the Owen Hart tournament, it'll be a great match.
Yeah, that's you can use the fact that she won, you know, to make people buy into it. They already have that built in because she beat her on the way to you know, to the final.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what I guess last thing we should talk about because we got to get on the Raw. Open cage against the dogs.
Yeah, Corbin Cage against the Dogs was a good match. I was pleased to see Edge and Christian go over. The returning Jay White got the pop of the night, and there's long term storytelling there with him hitting uh, Finley with the shillelagh because that's what happened. That's what happened when the Dogs kicked Jay White out of the Bullet Club over in New Japan. So it's full circle storytelling there for anyone who's paying deep attention. And it was not a long match, and I think that would benefited Cope and Cage.
Didn't have to be.
No, it didn't have to be. It was just a good match between the two teams, and even though the Dogs didn't win, they elevate from this match, and that's what I think Edge and Christian, Cage and Cope are going to be doing at this point in their career. Whoever they work with, win, lose, or draw, is going to come out of it higher up on the card.
Yeah, it's almost like they're anointing, you know,
Yeah,
a team. I'm
yeah,
already
and
I'm
with
already
the
thinking who else is on the horizon, and I might be a little foggy on AEW tag teams at the moment, but I don't see any. I mean, I guess the guns could challenge him, but that's not really elevating. I guess it is, but
no, I don't see that coming up. The guns have been hammered, angered out enough that they need their reestablishment with Jay White. What I see going down is some type of a filler feud for Edge and Christian, Cage and Cope over the next month. They go into All In with the titles, and at All In we get them
oh yeah,
against the Team Hardys and the New Day, who will be in AEW by then. I'm sure in July we'll get the New Day in AEW.
it'll be next week for all we know.
It's possible, yeah, but they'll
Yeah,
show up in AEW and they'll be a part of that match. So you get Cope and Cage, the Bucks, the New Day, and maybe they'll throw FTR in there to have it a four-way match, which is typical AEW. But we're looking at what's going to be a 2026 TLC kind of match with at All In between all those teams. And at that point, if the New Day are there, like we're all speculating, I see them walking away with the titles. But it's a nice run for Edge and Christian, Cage and Cope.
I don't I don't know if I want four teams or three teams. But I mean, it would work good just because you know Adam Copeland and Christian, as good as they still are, they're still not what they used to be.
No, we're all
So
getting older.
right. So, but I mean, they could do more shit than I could. So you know, I could just shut the fuck up about it. But they to have two at more athletic, high flyerish teams with them, we spoke about this in the past, would benefit them into having better matches anyway. So I'd be
Yeah,
up for a three way.
Yeah, and I think that's what we'll get. And the 4-way might be an AEW thing, but I'm seeing a 3-way, and we'll see how with the FCR because there's been rumors that they may be on their way out. So, but that's no rumors about who's in and out. All the podcasts can
Well, they posted something
waste time
about
on that.
something on X about like how they're, they're gonna reevaluate shit and whatever, but supposedly they're just like renegotiating, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes down because there was a rumor about the WWF being interested in them, but I don't think they would go back there. So it's just a matter of TNA, smack me for that. AEW putting the correct offer on the table.
TNA, what the fuck?
Exactly. What the fuck? Who watches that? I
I
don't.
watched it. I just watched it. Well, I'm about to watch it.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
You're gonna watch it too a little
yeah, no,
bit. Well, we're
no.
gonna talk. We're gonna talk about it. So you know,
We can
we'll
talk about it.
we'll
Doesn't mean I have to
see.
watch it. I can get all the TNA I need just by jumping on someone else's YouTube and fulfilling those needs in about 5 minutes.
Hmm, that's true. I'm
Um,
still watching TNA.
Not really. Somebody else's shit. I'm putting views on someone else's channel.
Okay.
Switching gears over to
Well,
the big company of them all, the production people, the new everything. It's a new everything. TKO run, Triple H clowned WWE. I think Monday Night Raw was good, with the opening segment being the opening segment and the ending segments of the nights getting equal points for highlights of the night in my book. What do you think?
yeah, I enjoyed what they did. I was, obviously I was curious, and to start it off the way it did, and yeah, like you were saying, the way where the beginning started and the end connected, it worked great. It worked great.
Oba and Brock in the opening of the show. That is one of the best Brock Lesnar promos and interactions I've ever seen him do. It was solid. It was funny. It was honest, and that's just well done. The problem I have with it, of course, I got to find a problem with something. Is Oba puts aside his title shot for SummerSlam so he can go fight Brock. And that kind of to me is like Oba saying, the title shot ain't that important. Even though he's
Yep.
like, I can go get the title anytime I want. I'm not worried about that. I want to get my hands on him first.
Yep.
Like, man, you should actually be like, I'll get you, Brock. You should be like, on one night, I'll go ahead and take you out. And then the next night, I'll go take out the champion and take my title if he's that big of a deal. But I also don't think I'm not. I'm not happy it's going to be a Hell in a Cell match because I don't really think their feud has reached a point for there to be a Hell in a Cell match, and I feel it's going to diminish the last Hell in a Cell match between CM Punk and McIntyre, which is one of the best of all time.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
and I'm also curious what you think since it's in Minneapolis. Does Brock lose his very first Hell in a Cell match in his hometown, and Oba go over like they should do? If I booked it, Oba goes in there. They have since it's a Hell in a Cell, they better make something out of it between the two of them. And Oba's the last man standing. That's my thoughts.
I don't think there's any way Oba loses on this. There's no doubt he wins this. There's
Should.
no reason for Brock Lesnar to win this. None. Brock Lesnar could lose this match and then challenge Sami Zayn the next night on Raw, and it wouldn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oba's got to win. He's got to win that match. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oba's got to win that match, and Brock Lesnar isn't in a position in his wrestling career that he can lose, and the very next night, if like crowd wouldn't treat him like he lost.
Right.
So and there's still more. If he goes ahead and he loses to Oba and keeps going on, eventually maybe we can get to him versus Gunther later on down the road. But yeah, I thought that was a good opening segment. And since I opened my mouth about the end, let's skip to the other end of the sandwich, discuss the end of the show, and then we'll fill in the gaps in between. What do you think about Seth Rollins coming out to challenge Roman Reigns for the championship at SummerSlam and the story he told? I thought the story Seth told was great, but what do you think about that? Sort of kind of coming out of nowhere.
It was coming out of nowhere, but as Roman was talking, I was thinking somebody's got to challenge him. It's not going to be, there. When you narrowed it down, it made sense that it was Seth. And then when it finally happened, it was like, oh yeah, okay, that makes perfect sense now. But yeah, the way he delivered that to Roman, that challenge wasn't your typical, I gotta beat you. He filled in the history, and really like it was almost like a refresher video, to let people know why Seth should be in this spot fighting against Roman at SummerSlam. I thought it was really good, and I like, you know, the last time we saw them two interact was with that tag match with The Rock and Cody,
Yes. Yeah.
and Roman kind of dismissed him as, a fake secondary champion.
Yeah, he did.
And
He dismissed him as the title they made uh just to appease. Yes, he was nothing but a secondary, second hand kind of champ.
and he tried to do it again on Monday, and he was like, "You're at the back of the line." And Seth, responded with what he responded with. But it was a really good way to set it up.
It was a good way to set up. And Seth is at the front of the line because, he never lost the title. He got hurt. So if anyone had a claim to the championship right away, Seth does. And this was something they kind of wanted to do this back at WrestleMania. Remember right, was Seth and Roman in a one-on-one. And Seth was hurt. So this brings us to them doing it now. And my early prediction on the match for SummerSlam is that Roman goes over. He gets his win over Seth finally. But lingering in the background of my mind is Jacob Fatu. And another kind of swerve. I'm still wondering what's going to happen with him. Him being Roman's right-hand man the way it is right now, just isn't sitting right with me. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he swerves Roman at SummerSlam, but let me keep myself in check. Let's get back on the focus. I thought it was a good segment, a good setup, and the way they did, as you mentioned, they brought the history of the two of them together so fans can understand why this matters. It's going to be a good one.
Real quick on Jacob, I think that whatever he's, we don't know what the hell's going on with him yet. I think that continues through SummerSlam. I don't think it wraps up at SummerSlam. I think he's more showing his allegiance to Jacob. I mean, to Roman at SummerSlam. I think it continues. Maybe it wraps up at the Survivor Series, but we see what we did with Andrade.
Yeah,
We get a face turn.
Possibly because I
Still
don't
new.
think it'll end at SummerSlam either. Every time I look at him, I was like, what's he going to do? So he has my interest peaked in that situation.
It's still new.
It is still new. Yeah, it's too new to wash it away. And, WWE is doing the thing they want to do with him. And speaking of the bloodline, the LA Knight versus Jimmy match was kind of decent. I thought it was absolutely hilarious when LA Knight pretended he was going to throw Jimmy into Jay.
That was yes.
And Jay got psyched out.
Yep.
I mean that was good. And if they aren't building to Jay versus LA Knight in a one-on-one at SummerSlam, I think they're building to Solo and LA Knight against the Usos.
That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, that's what I'm starting to think now too. And I kind of have a feeling we might get a Solo Sikoa babyface turn out of this, which as long as he's been a heel right now, if the character he's starting to portray on TV that we've seen on Monday night especially, If that's the kind of character he's going to be, and he goes babyface, I can see the crowd getting behind him.
It would be the strangest path to a babyface turn ever. This is a really weird one. But I mean, there's no Talatonga or Tamatonga around. You know, so what else does he have? But like when he did that promo on LA Knight last week,
Yeah.
the whole "I hate the bloodline." Still in the back of your head, you're thinking, "Yeah, okay, sure." But starting to believe him a little more. So, but yeah, that's what I do see happening. Him and LA Knight teaming up.
Yeah, I think it's more likely going to happen in the one-on-one match, and it's something something to do with them. It's also they're running the bloodline storyline back, but it's in a fresh way with that kind of a match. I mean, who would expect LA Knight to be teaming up with one of the guys he's been wanting to beat up?
Right.
There's history between the two of them, so it's interesting. I liked that. Yeah, it was interesting.
Psh, that was the end of it. Psh. Anyway,
What
yes,
do you
it
think
was.
about? Uh, I have a disappointment of the night from Raw, and I want to see your thoughts on this. The Rey Mysterio beating
Ah,
Ethan Page,
that
and
was
what the fuck was that?
no, man. That
I
shouldn't
got to,
happen. It seems
yeah, I
like a
get,
lot. It seems like they're making a lot of the young guys, the NXT call-ups, really take their friggin' losses.
yeah, and I don't get that because even back in the day when we were watching wrestling as kids, when the new guys came in that they wanted to do something with, they won their matches.
Yeah,
You know, if we had a wrestling company, I'd establish the ham and egger theory again. We'd have that weekly show where the guys we want to push are beating ham and eggers, and then eventually the top talent fights each other, and those are the matches that catch your attention. But Ray beating Ethan when it seemed like they brought Ethan up with the plans, I feel like that's a detrimental loss to Ethan Page and his momentum. Because why is Rey Mysterio still winning matches? I know he's a Hall of Famer. I know he's great, etc., etc. But what is the point? He's in that age bracket now where he should actually be losing matches to talent to help get them over. He doesn't have to lose every week, but he also doesn't have to beat all the youngsters every week. You know what I mean? When was the last time Ray lost a match to somebody of any significance?
I mean, is he that legendary that he's like the Hulk Hogan of luchadors?
I would say, Hogan of Luchadors. There'll be Conan as far as popularity goes. But
Well, the Hogan
I
of
see your point.
masked wrestlers, actually.
Well, the Hogan of mass wrestlers is going to be Hulk Machine, brother.
The machines.
The Machines, Giant Machine, Hulk Machine, and Super Machine, which was it's the mass superstar Hogan and Andre on the mask. That was so fucking stupid. I mean, but good.
It was
I guess
remember when they had their match on like Superstars, or whatever. Bobby Heenan would come out with a camera and like take pictures of him because he kept telling Pete, telling Gorilla that it was Hulk and like Andre and like
yes,
even like Junkyard Dog. I know
yes, yes,
there was definitely a demolition machine too. They were
yes.
definitely involved.
Yeah, Axe was super. Axe, the mass superstar, was
That's right.
he was a super machine.
Super machine.
He's the one that did all the talking, and until Hulk Machine came along. Anyway, let's not get too sidetracked. We'll go down a deep pit of all the machine.
No, that was a good one though. That
It
proves
was good.
our classic cred right there.
The machines are the WWE's answer to Dusty Rhodes and the Midnight Rider. It was obvious as fuck who this is. The crowd's cheering because they know who it is under the mask. And the machines, and plus Bobby the Brain Heenan with the machines. Again, there's the greatest of all time managers jumping in there and going, "You guys can't be, you got to be kidding me. That's Hulk. That's Hogan. That's Andre. That's Andre."
Do you really think that like if you're talking about the machines and to make people more familiar with it, you go, yeah, it's what you can compare it to is Dusty Rhodes as the Midnight Rider. You think that's
Does
a
it? No, you
um,
know what? For the youngsters out there today, it'd be like Sami Zayn putting the El Generico mask back on, or Christopher Daniels putting back on the Curryman mask. Everybody knows who it is now.
oh
But
Mr. America.
or Mr. America, what? You know, man, that's probably a deeper cut than even the machines are for some people because how short that gimmick lasted. Hogan,
But I mean, it was
Mr.
more
America.
recent. It was more
It was
recent,
more.
but
You're correct. It was more recent. It's around WrestleMania 19. Another one that was funny because not
yeah,
only does he come out to Hogan's old music, he's dressed like Captain America, and it's like his blonde hair sticking out of the mask, and it drove Vince McMahon crazy. He's like, it's Hogan,
right,
it's Hogan, it's
yeah,
Hogan.
yeah.
Uh,
Um,
I was
what about?
disappointed about Ray going over. Sorry, God.
Yeah, I didn't care for that either, and I was, that was one of those matches where as soon as I saw who was fighting who, I was like, oh, this is over. You know, I just,
Yeah,
I didn't think it was going to go that way, but um, yeah, I mean, it's almost like Raw matches now, unless it's a main event book type match. It's almost like those house shows where like the matches didn't exist. The
it's true.
untelevised matches. Like because I mean, who the hell knows? Rey Mysterio and Ethan Page could have a pay-per-view match for a championship in a few months, and
It's
they'll
true.
make believe this match never happened.
It's true. Maybe Ray goes on to take the IC title off of Penta, just as an example. Excuse me, there's Ray's last loss. He challenged Penta a couple weeks ago and
That's
lost,
right. Yeah.
which made fucking sense. But here he is winning again. Maybe that does happen. Maybe Mysterio is involved in a match with Ethan Page or whoever down the line. I think they should build to him and Dominic and have Dominic retire him. And that's how I've felt for a long time. But I don't see that on the horizon at the moment. What I do see is we had an excellent match between Chad Gable and the bobblehead,
Absolutely.
and that
Absolutely.
that top
JD.
rope,
Yeah.
yeah, McDonald, the top rope Spanish fly was absolutely brutal, and I legitimately do hope JD McDonald doesn't have a fucking concussion.
Well, when they did that and it was executed the way it was, my main thought was like, because if you recall, Chad Gable does an excellent moonsault off the top rope.
Yes,
So does James D. McDonough. So when they were getting ready for it, I was like, oh, okay, this could be good. And it was, but yeah, JD, man, yeah, it was that was good. Yeah, excellent spot.
I did watch the replay several times, and it looks like Gable did an excellent job of protecting JD when they hit the mat because he's got his head cradled in the cup of his elbow,
Right.
so his head never really hits the mat, but still from the overall impact, damn. And I'd say that was the match of the night for Raw. The other thing, two other little things on Raw that caught my attention, and I'll switch over to you there, Edalicious, is Austin Theory being dismissed by Paul Heyman, basically. And I'm just going to say, I think, we're going to get what we're predicting, that the division needs to split up. And Lyra Valkyria's new character,
Uh,
I think, is great because
really?
she's half nuts. Yeah, I liked it. She's half nuts. She's the one, they decided to do her as the one having the mental, emotional breakdown instead of Bailey, like it was setting up several months ago. And I actually thought Lyra is pretty good as a psycho, you know. And again, she's kind of playing into the truth on the situation, a la Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre. Everyone's mad at her now for losing her temper, but all the times Bailey lost her temper over the past few months, they forgave her.
Well, when she said that, my thought was, Lyra, we're really not mad at you. That was my thought. Like, I don't know, and I'm not buying that. Like, okay, it's another like quote unquote cuckoo character, or I don't know. As soon as they showed her face on the screen,
Uh,
I rolled my eyes. I just don't see her as that type of character. She's Bob Backlund. She's like a really good, nice character. Let her be that for a long time. Just because they're running out of shit to do with her doesn't mean you just got to flip her.
You're going to compare her to Bob Backlund, though. Bob Backlund, who was, the babyface of babyfaces in the '80s, and came
Yeah.
back in the '90s, and they tried running him like original Bob Backlund. Became one of the greatest, such a good fucking heel,
Hell yeah.
which is still to this day. I'm really surprised how good a heel Bob Backlund was.
Yep.
How he turned the opposite corner, and he was a great heel in his run against Bret Hart, and then a great comedy heel when he, became Mr. Backlund and ran for president, and then sided with the Iron Sheik of all people. And I remember when that happened, I was like, that one got me even more than the Sheik and Slaughter together as Mustafa and Sergeant Slaughter. When Backlund was siding with the Sheik and managing the Sultan, for anyone who wonders, that is Rikishi. The whole thing was like, this is the guy who beat you for the belt, dude. This is crazy. So, kudos to back in the '90s when Vince McMahon was actually letting us younger kids go, hey, Vince has lost his mind. He's put our villains with each other as friends.
Yeah, that was kind of funny when it happened. And like you were saying, the dude that beat him for the title. But they really didn't make note of that. Did they ever say like,
Nope, not at all. They didn't. I don't recall them bringing that up one iota. I think it was just left for people like you and me to go, the fuck are you doing? He beat you for the belt. You're the reason he beat you, and then Hulkamania started. What are you doing, Bob? So
imagine like
what
somebody
did
who imagine like somebody who like who fell into a coma in the late 80s,
mhm.
89, 90, and then they woke up in 1996 and realized that like Hulk Hogan and Bob Backlund were bad guys, like, you know, like
Yep.
they'd be
They're like,
the least, likely to be bad guys of like
yeah,
any
like,
wrestlers ever, you know?
what happened? Oh my God, what
Right,
happened?
right. I guess that was
Um,
on Raw. We had Maxine
yeah,
Dupree.
yeah.
That's I guess that they're washing their hands of that whole, her turn heel thing. I think it looks like from last week to this week, they changed their minds.
Well, it's because I think this one they're not going to go on with the vision anymore.
Right.
With the
Yep.
injury, with the injury to Logan Paul, the need for a reset for Braun Breaker. I'll keep my mouth shut about that. The need for a reset for Breaker. We don't know when Bronson Reed's coming back. So really, the vision fell apart not because it wasn't working, but because everybody got fucking hurt.
Yep.
And the WWE with Joe Hendry ripped into Austin Theory last night, basically tore him down again. So that's got to be the end of him for the Vision. And if that isn't the eventual beginning of a babyface turn for him, which he should have done a while ago, it's not going to instantly happen. But I think he'll be better off as a babyface because he's failed in just about every single heel aspect they put him into. Remember, this guy beat John Cena, and they never capitalized on it. So the Maxine Dupree thing being kiboshed, I think she's got to do with the Vision falling apart. Unless they swerve us and she ends up with what's his face, Austin Theory anyway. But yeah, I think that's the whole reason it got kiboshed, and I'm disappointed because I want to see what Maxine could do as a heel. I think she could be a fucking really good heel, actually, just based on what I've seen out of her. If you take her personality, take the type of person she looks like she could be, I think she could portray that. I think she could portray the entitled, spoiled, beautiful woman who can downgrade everybody else around her. But it looks
Well,
like that's done.
and they the match against Raquel Rodriguez was pretty much I mean, who's going to win that match. It was pretty much a squash. So
Yeah,
for her jobbing out like that, some kind of change is on the horizon.
yeah, and it's and again another scratch that we're going to do it somewhere else. and Raquel beating her and beating her solidly, like as if Maxine was a ham and egger. The explanation afterwards too to Austin's like, I thought I was ready for her, I wasn't.
Hmm.
We'll see where that goes. Maybe she does. Maybe they do put her, Gable, uh, Otis, and Tara Tozawa back together as a unit. I don't think that would hurt anybody. It'd probably make the crowd kind of happy. But what I got out of this whole thing is the setting up uh, Big Mommy Cool to go after the IC title.
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to go with her taking that belt off Sol Ruka when they finally do the match. When, where, whatever the fuck. I'll go with her taking the title off Sol Ruka.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I think it's no slight on Sol. I think they need to do something with Raquel and the IC title. Sounds like a good building block for her. If they're going to do what they did with Diesel back in the day, remember he was IC champ first.
Mhm.
So maybe they could do something to build her up around the IC title and get her going in the correct direction and move on to her against Liv eventually.
They could have just copied the whole Shawn Michaels Diesel thing, where it starts off as the bodyguard, but I mean, it'd kind of leave Roxanne Perez out on her own. But um, there's the bodyguard, and then eventually they have a falling out, and you turn each one of them into, well, not in this case, turn each one into big stars, but it was a really good feud, and that's what I actually thought they were going to do. But it looks like to me, it seems like it'd be more Raquel siding with Roxanne Perez than Liv.
Well, Roxanne's another one they kind of threw for a loop because they sent Finn Balor to SmackDown, and it seemed like they were starting a storyline with her and Finn, which I was like, okay, they're going to turn her babyface. You could tell the crowd was starting to get behind her. So if they have her leave and go over Finn, that made some sense. But now Finn's gone, so all of a sudden that's scrapped. It's again, that goes to 11 guys at a fucking boardroom table pulling belly button lint out of their stomach more than they're coming up with ideas. So, this fucking waste. And I'll go on a limb right now and say the Judgment Day will break up, maybe at SummerSlam or the Raw after whatever. Finally get over with the Judgment Day. It's time to split them up, and the nucleus of that split up will be Danhausen at the end of all this with the cursing and everything. And then JD can go on and do his thing. I think eventually Dom can become a babyface, but for now I think what I think a lot of shit. You didn't know this. I think a lot. Think. The
Okay.
they kind of dropped the ball on what they could have done with Roxanne and split things up. Raw overall was all right because of the opening and ending segments and the excellent match between JD and Chad. The rest of it was raw. Even Joe Hendry didn't make me go, "Oh my god, I want to watch this." He's a nice comedical mid-carder rather than a main eventer in T and Who.
That could have been that's a drop the baller. That could be a whole segment on its own. Who do you think WWE dropped the ball on? But another time, of course.
10 wrestlers, we can do that at some point in time. 10 wrestlers the WWE's dropped the ball on in the last 5 years.
But if we're gonna start a list on worst WWE backup singers, the Street Profits will definitely win. So,
Yeah.
and the last thing, here's a little challenge for you. You gotta pick one right now, gun to your head. You have to pick one. It's either gonna be a match between El Gigante and the Great Khali, or listen to Liv Morgan's laugh on a loop for 5 minutes.
Liv Morgan's laugh on a loop for 5 minutes.
You'd pick that one? Okay.
Yeah, because I remember actually. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Well, El Gigante against Great Khali.
No. And you know what? Between the two of them, the Great Khali was the much better wrestler.
I know.
And then, no.
That's what's funny about it. Like, he was so bad, but He was still much better than El Gigante.
He was much better, and for being a legitimate 7 foot guy, I remember him being the first guy who's like, an Andre the Giant size guy, 7+, who was chiseled.
Right.
Kali was a believable monster. And El Gigante, yeah, I remember just watch El Gigante against the One Man Gang from WCW back in 1990 at Great American Bash. I watched that this past week, filling a few minutes of empty space. And El Gigante was a babyface, but he sucked so much in the ring that the crowd was cheering the gang a little bit. So, yeah, no, I'll take Liv Morgan wailing for 5 minutes, no doubt.
Oh man, that's and I hate to say that since she's a Jersey girl, but gosh, man. And that song, I'm not gonna go on again about it, how terrible it is. I mean, it's not my music, but still, I think I know a little bit about what fucking absolutely sucks this day and age. So,
So
but
what's the
anyway,
greatest? What's the greatest thing that ever came out of Jersey?
the greatest thing that ever came out of Jersey. Damn, dude, that is. I have to get back to you on that.
This is supposed to be an easy one. You're supposed to say, "Well, fucking me, of course."
That was
But
my
since
first one, but that's way too unchallenging.
this is after that, I'm just gonna throw. There is a great one out there, but I'm just gonna say Sinatra and Hoboken.
I was
But
thinking Sinatra or
but
or Nicholson.
yeah, this is a Jersey actually did pump out a lot of good stuff. Danzig, the Misfits, Liv
Sabretz.
Morgan, Sabretz, Bon Jovi doesn't count.
No.
Sinatra.
You'd probably
good
think
stuff.
you'd probably say Springsteen.
No,
I know I'm kidding.
no.
I'm kidding.
So we're always good. And moving on to the next subject at hand for the night, folks. Well, actually, in the comments, what did you guys think of Forbidden Door? And how do you feel things are moving towards All In for the pay-per-view at the end of the summer? And SummerSlam, what are your early SummerSlam predictions? Who's going to win? Seth or Roman? Let us know in the comments. And if you got an idea for fantasy booking on that match, I want to hear about it. Drop it in the comments, please. I think I will be interested. And what do you think? Hell in the Cell. We got Brock. We got Oba. Is Oba the ruler or is Brock the beast? Does the beast feast or does the ruler stand on his chest at the end of this thing and move on to greater things like the title he should be challenging for? Let us know in the comments, please.
Monsters, battle.